Hi again. I thought we might talk about electric drum kits today. A lot of my students ask me, should I buy an electric or an acoustic drum set? And I of course answer, yes. If it's all possible, you should have one of each, because they both perform very well in their own realm. And the realm of the electric kit, in my opinion, is the studio rather than the stage. And the practice room, of course. Prior to electric drum kits, the only way I could practice without annoying my neighbours was to put my acoustic drum set behind very thick brick walls and shut the door. With the electric kits, you have the functionality of playing under headphones, so only the tapping of the pads is the only sound other people would hear. If I turn my volume off here and that's not going to annoy too many neighbours. So basically, a lot of people buy electric drum kits for this practice thing. It's like, oh, I can practice anytime I want under headphones and not annoy anyone in the house, let alone the neighbours. And look, they're probably worth the price of entry for that purpose alone, because unless you have a soundproof studio, it's very hard to practice your acoustic drums anytime you want because of noise restrictions and neighbours and all sorts of things. So, as I said, I tend to see the electric kit as a studio instrument. I tend to see the acoustic kit as a stage instrument. Oh, and a studio instrument, of course, but given that you've got nice thick walls. So, whether you've got an entry-level kit or whether you've got a top-of-the-range kit, you have to understand that, like acoustic kits, electric kits come from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. And you don't necessarily want to buy the cheapest electric kit out there because it's probably not going to be good value for money. Generally speaking, you have to go a little bit further up the range before you start getting good product, good reliable product, well-made product. You need to do the research, whether you're buying new or second-hand. You can't go wrong with the big corporate brands, the Rolands and the Yamahas. They've got reputations to look after, and their products are industry standard for sure. But there are many, many other companies barking at their heels, offering perhaps even better value for money. So it's up to you as a consumer to check it out through your local drum store or online or however you shop. But an electric drum kit is going to offer you things that an acoustic drum set won't, just as the reverse is true. So let's talk about some of the things the electric drum kit will offer you. Well, I've already said noiseless practice, but then again, assuming that you can make a little bit of noise, we can get a powered speaker to play the kit through, so we can control the volume. And now we don't need headphones, so it's much nicer to play one of the many preset kits that you'll find in your electric kit once you get it set up. And by that I mean different styles of drum set, like a big heavy rock sound, a nice light jazz sound, perhaps a Latin sound with some timbale or conga patched in. This is another big thing with electric drum sets. People go, electric drum, it has to sound like a drum. No, of course it doesn't have to sound like a drum. You can patch anything you want to these pads with a little bit of training. Let me find a patch here that's got very little to do with drums. Here's one. Melodious, it's called. Wonder why it's called that. Excuse me. Obviously you get the idea. As a studio instrument, the electric pad set, drum set, whatever you want to call it, offers you up just enormous potential to create sound, to layer sound, to mix sound, and to customize sound for each project you're doing. Something that's really not that possible on an acoustic set. You know, with an acoustic set you generally have that set up for rock drumming or jazz drumming or Latin drumming or whatever sort of drumming is your main bag. because all those types of drumming require slightly different setups on your acoustic kit to get the best from the genre, from the music genre. And you just can't slip an acoustic kit from one genre to another. You need to change heads. It's a time-consuming and costly process. With an electric kit, you push a button and you've gone from one kit to another. For example, a basic studio kit. General purpose, dog's body, work in most situations, but if you want to get more specific, next kit says LA metal, so I imagine we'd be looking at something like perhaps. What do we got? Swinging, well, that's self-explanatory, isn't it? And burning. Oh, this is one of my favourites. I've used this on a lot of different projects, particularly big heavy rock projects where they don't really want double kick, they want more a John Bonham sort of big open sounding rock thing. So this kit's great. Check it out. Oh, you'd work for hours to get that out of an acoustic kit. Microphones, the whole recording chain, the outboard gear, everything you've got to do to make an acoustic kit sound like that. You've got to be kidding me. This is where electric kits really shine. You know, you can just plug the damn things in and they're ready to go. And you can plug out of them as well, just as easily as you can plug into them. So instead of, like with an acoustic kit, needing a slurry of microphones and leads and mixers and all sorts of input devices, basically most electric kits will give you a stereo out at a minimum, and that can be really simply addressed into inputs of computers, or if you've got a proper audio interface, that can be even better, but it's only a line signal. There's no microphones need to be bought, there's no extraneous noise going to be recorded whilst you're recording down the line, whereas with microphones, of course, it's quiet on the set we're about to record. Microphones hear everything, you know. So yeah, practically speaking, I couldn't live without either of my kits. You know, if push came to shove and someone said electric or acoustic, you can only have one, obviously I'd take the acoustic. For any number of reasons, one of the big ones being it doesn't need electricity to function. But yeah, seriously, the acoustic drum set is a very, very special instrument and requires very, very special technique to get good sound out of it. You need good stick control, good touch. You need all that on an electric kit as well, but the electric kit is far more forgiving because whereas on the acoustic kit you're actually you're making the sound by how you strike the instrument. The electric kit will respond to dynamics, and it'll also respond to position where you are, you know, up on the bell, or, oh, hang on a minute while I get on a kit, up on the bell, or down, you know, on the ride proper. And yeah, you know, those sort of ideas, you know, that have all been taken off the acoustic set to make the electric set feel more comfortable for those acoustic players that would like the electric set to be just like the acoustic kit. But really, that's not its main gig, you know? Like if you really want it to be just like an acoustic set, you can buy an acoustic set, because really, at the end of the day, even the very best electric kit is just that. It's like comparing electric guitars to acoustic guitars. You know, you've got an acoustic guitar, and it can never be what the electric guitar is. And you've got an electric guitar, and it's not going to be what the acoustic guitar is either. So why not have both? Anyways. Once you've got your kit set up, and that can be a bit of a drama in itself, so follow the instruction manual when you get it. And while we're on the subject of manuals, whatever sort of rig you've got, keep the manual handy. Yeah? Go to the manual when you first get it. Do not sit down and attempt to read the manual from cover to cover. That's not how you read manuals. Okay? You have a contents page, and that has subheadings, and you know you normally have some sort of reference pages at the back as well that you can cross-reference with. And basically the book's nicely tidied up into sections. So if you read through the contents pages, something that I could do a lot better if I put these on. Overview of the machine, great. How the sounds are generated, great. Panel description, how it works, top panel, rear panel, basic operation. Hey, we're talking my language, right? You just get straight into the basics of the manual and it tells you exactly what to do. And it goes on, and it goes on, and it can go on, depending on how sophisticated the machine is that you've got. But understand that the capabilities of your electric drum kit go way beyond you just sitting on it and banging on it. Under headphones or with a powered speaker, a powered monitor, whatever you want to call it. That's obvious. Plug it into your computer and see what you can do. Shove up what we call a DAW, a digital audio workstation. There are plenty of them available online. A lot of them are free for use. Audacity is one that comes to mind, but there are many, many others. I actually do a lot of recording online with this machine at a studio in the cloud. You know how it's all about everything's got to be backed up in the cloud. Well, back up in my cloud, there's a recording studio with people in it from all over the world, and it's called Ohm Studio. So if you want to check that out, go to ohmstudio.com and check it out, because it's amazing. It's not absolute real time at the same time playing, but it's real time as in the same room chatting to each other as we take turns laying down tracks. You're collaborating on original pieces. It's a heck of a lot of fun, and with an electric kit you can just go and plug in and you're ready to record. You can monitor through speakers because there's no open mics. Your wife can come in the middle of a take and say, "Dinner's ready." It's not a problem, there's no open mics, just keep playing and go, "Yeah, when I finish this, thank you." Yeah, it happens. I might have to edit that bit out, eh? Anyway. Enjoy your electric kits. Read the manual, understand what you can do with it. You can change the sounds, you can change the kits. You can go, "Gee, I really like these tom-toms. It's a pity they're not with this kick and snare. Oh, hang on a minute. I can make a custom kit where I can take those tom-toms and that kick and snare and put them together in the one kit. Oh, and use these cymbals. Oh, but I don't like that cymbal. That's all right, I can change that." Yeah? Understand, this is how electric kits work. They're there for you to edit, not just take out of the box and play. Have a little read of the manual, learn how the black box works. You know, they're not all that complicated. They all kind of work the same way, you know. And you change your sounds, and you change your kits, and you change your locations, and you copy this to there, and you know, mess with it. Have some fun with it. It's like everything else. The more you get to know your instrument, the more you'll get out of it, and the more fun you'll have with it. I use this, as I said, a lot for recording. I've got a number of different sorts of standard drum kits here that have got different production on them, but they're all, you know, hi-hats and snares and kicks and toms and various cymbals, you know, absolutely. But like that patch I was playing before, the Melodious patch, there's a lot of things here that you know, you don't necessarily expect when you first start messing with your new instrument. This one's called Super Loop, and what I like about this is it has a bass sequence hooked up with the bass, with the bass drum, with the kick pedal, yeah? So as I play the bass drum, you'll hear the world's tightest bass player playing along with me. Check this out. Oh! Oh! Wouldn't it be nice to have a bass player that could stick to you like that, eh? Anyway, I think that's probably enough for electric kits for the moment. The main thing is, yeah, don't underestimate what you can do with your electric drum kit. Read the manual. Cheers.